morning, everybody. Very, very crazy to think that we are exactly 1 week away from Christmas. We are almost into 2023. It's nuts. I don't know where the year went. We're going to do an entire wrap-up show of our year, pack a lunch, because you and I both know it's been a really busy year. Speaking of busy, this case, Idaho 4, I hate just saying Idaho 4 because, well, the kids have a name. Yes, I say kids. Kaylee, 21, Madison, 21, Ethan, 20, Xana, 20. College students, lives in front of them, on the right path, brutally murdered in their home. Off-campus home, I might add. Anyhow, as we know, Kaylee's father has been speaking to the media a lot. He's been airing his frustrations, everything from communication with the police to what the police are and are not releasing. This interview Steve gave with his attorney to Fox, we get a different Steve, and it's a Steve that I think everybody can relate to, everybody can understand. He explains what he meant when he said coward. He wasn't talking about the police as a whole. So the media there did him dirty. I think he's taken a deep breath and he has realized that these people, as in the media, are not 100% on his side. They're there for the next headline, the next click and view, if you know what I mean. So he seems, just my opinion, okay? I haven't talked to Steve. That's just my opinion. Now, the new surveillance has come out. Interestingly enough, Steve and his family, this is kind of old news to them. But a lot of rumor is going around about who is Adam, who is Adam. He explains who Adam is in this clip. There's a lot more in this clip I want to go through, but first I just want to share it with you. Tomorrow we're going to do a live on the massacre in Moscow. And in the meantime, please listen to this and leave me a comment. Please, please. It's very interesting.
Family's attorney, Shannon Gray. Steve, thanks so much for joining the program again. I made a promise to you that our audience would stay on this case and not let this case die. We had a cooling off period last week out of respect for law enforcement to bring the temperature down a little bit. What new can you tell us, Steve? I know we got this new surveillance video that was released by our digital team today. What can you tell us?
That film, to the family, we've had that film for a while. I believe the business reached out to us directly, and after they had given it to the police. So it was kind of comforting to us because it's just two girls having a good time talking about, asking about their bartender and just being girls on their way to the grub truck.
Yeah, so you don't suspect that this guy, Adam, that's stated in the video is somehow a suspect or anything like that. You guys have known about this video for a while.
We have, and we asked, and we did the obvious due diligence when we looked into that, and it was pretty clear that this individual was not a part of the investigation as far as a suspect.
Good copy. So, Steve, what can you tell us about the investigation thus far? We've heard about the car details being released as well. Is there anything that we can do to get some answers for you guys so we can get this suspect, whoever it is, in custody?
They've kind of informed us through communications that they've checked all the easiest paths. So like if this individual had this car registered to his name and it was just something very quick that they could just look up in the area and go right to his house, they've done all the due diligence there. They've done all that. So now they're reaching out and they're going to look to the community, see if this individual borrowed this car. It doesn't appear that it's something that they have real easy access to. So he may have ran, and they really pushed the narrative saying, hey, if we can get these guys to focus on something that's really helpful, which is this car, and find out if somebody says, hey, that car, that looks a lot like mine, I'm going to come forward and just volunteer my information. And then, they can figure out if somebody else had borrowed it or if it, heck, who knows?
Steve, we talked about this off air. But one of the reasons why I want to bring this up is because I think it's critical to this investigation. A lot of these young people were teenagers, and there may have been some illicit activity that was minor that they would have gotten in trouble for, and it may be preventing them from coming forward. What can you tell these young people to kind of motivate them to give up some answers? Don't worry about all the petty stuff. 4 innocent lives were lost here.
Yeah, I want kids to understand that this is such a big case that these guys have their hands full. I wanted to go out there and tell everyone we support the Gonclaves family, support the local police officers, so much so that we want them to be able to work on this case. I know that this is way over the normal workload that they normally have. Plus, they have patrols. They have to patrol now. This guy's not caught. So, there were some rumors that I called these officers a coward. That was not for these officers. That was for a lawyer that was standing in between what the officers would like to release and what is actually being released. And I called that individual. And this was just about coming forward and saying that the profile is a male. I feel like at a month we can rule that that's not going to hurt the case. It's pretty clear. Even the coroner said this was a very strong individual. 2 people had defensive wounds, overpowered those people. So I'm just trying to steer the conversation into a way. So I have another person who's going to school there, and I don't want him walking around those streets if it's not safe. So, we know as a family what we're looking for. And, if they see an individual looking a certain way, I'm telling my kids, steer clear of that.
Steve,
but, I want other families to know.
Steve, this is your first, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, brother, but this is your first Christmas without Kaylee. How you doing? How's your family doing?
To be honest, we're not even really going to have a Christmas because you just can't get yourself there to where it would make sense. One of my children, the youngest one, is going to go stay with some families because they're going to have the normal type Christmas, and she deserves that. But for us, we can't do that. It's too close to our heart. And how do you have a celebration like this when you've lost 2 of your favorite people in the world?
Yeah, brother, we continue to pray for you, our audience as well. Thank you so much for joining the program.